fly, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Traumatized, victimized, seen some of my die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war to that nigga, he gon' pick a side. Hood ties from hood lines, my nigga doing dope lines. Don't run into the cops, that's a big exercise. Don't run into the cops, that's the motto. I don't see it coming to an end like legato. Get chipped like staccato, send a wave through the hood, now it's sounding like vibrato. Why you eat bread with avocado? We be trying to dodge shells before it landing on tomato. Singing all my sorrows on Apollo, I've been trying to pave the way, but they didn't tell me it was potholes. America ain't dreaming, they been scheming when the birth of a nation came from black. We all know it's black genius. Everybody love the culture, they be black by convenience.
Hold on, my killer. You talking way too much conscience. Speak about some girls or some money or some diamonds or something. I'm not telling you to rap, not to rap how you rap, but make something we can vibe to.
Sounded like a real anthem. Shawty saw my wallet, now she think I answer. Whoa, telling me she wanted me to hammer. Trying to get saved, baby, I am not the answer. No, I can never trick. Unless the bitch is my bitch with a kiss on my lips like, I am not a pimp with a limp, I'm a man with a gift, and I'm doing my shit like, tell them other nips, I'm the nip. I'm the man in the city, and my bank account bigger, and my body count bigger, that's without a doubt. I'm 100 steps ahead, that's a lot of mouth, that's a lot of clout. What you all about? What your dollar amount? You a boy scout, I'm a big dog. Tell the truth, I don't get y'all this shit. Time to corny, motherfucker, turn this shit off, bro. I can't rap how everybody else rap, bro. Everybody talking about hoes, cars, clothes, chains, and money. That shit corny as fuck, bro. Oh God, I don't want to rap about that corny ass shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to examine this situation as it relates to Nature Boy, or AKA his real name, Bishop, Eligio Bishop. I want to get into this very frankly. I may even make some people upset today, angry. But it's about telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
Shaming the devil.
Information is power.
And telling it like it is.
Information is power.
This is very important because, as you know, this man was convicted just the other day, not too long ago. He was fully convicted of the crimes that he was charged for.
Power.
And we need to recognize who sent this man, who put him on, who put the batteries in his back. Where did all this bullshit start? We know this man comes from the New York area. In the New York area, you have black people in New York who think that they are the be all, the end all when it comes to conscious thought, energy, low vibrations, high vibrations. You see, this man, from what I understand, comes from a place, you see the Brooklyn Bridge. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Brooklyn or somewhere in the New York area. And you have to ask yourself, where do these characters come from? Who sent them? Who puts the battery in their back? Who gives them the energy? Where does this so-called conscious thought that turns into a nightmare for people, where does this shit come from? Does it come from the streets of New York? Because like I said, they seem to think that they got it all locked up when it comes to conscious. The dumb thing about calling yourself the conscious community is that if you're conscious, you don't have to tell people that you're conscious. You see, Bishop, aka Nature Boy, he comes from the mean streets of New York, Brooklyn in particular. And this man worked as a barber. Remember, that was his whole claim of fame, that he was a barber working for the rich and famous. So he claimed. Then he made another statement saying that he also worked in sex work as a dancer, and even admitted that he would dance for sexual favors, though he would give sexual favors to gay men for the right price. Y'all hear what I'm saying? This is Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy. Let me also say this, and I may be indicting people today, may not be indicting people. It depends on how you see it. But let's look back at the fact that when Nature Boy first hit the scene, let's be honest, some of us, not all, thought that this shit was cute. Some people out there thought, oh, this brother is cool. Look how he got all these women. Some of you liked it because you thought he had a strong pimp game. So you continue to watch the videos while in the midst of our eyeballs watching these videos, we were taking witness to a cult developing, a culted personality developing right in our face. I can make an argument that when Eligio Bishop was on camera, and I want to say shout out to Brother Sanchez. I was on his show yesterday. We had a strong build over there, and I'm going to repeat some of the things that I said on his show. I'm going to make it very clear to you all today that Eligio Bishop, before he even got to this level of what he did, with the charges that they put on him, remember, let me put this up here. Remember that when he was arrested, Eligio Bishop, I don't give a damn if I'm not saying the first name correct, because this man is an animal. Remember, they got him for R, the rate. They got him for R. You know what that means. They got him for false imprisonment. Prohibition on nude, right? Putting out nude or sexual, explicit electronic transmissions. That means the stuff that he put out on his YouTube channel, what he put out in his social media. He wasn't so smart. So if this man comes from the so-called conscious community, and a lot of y'all followed him because you thought he was talking some deep shit. And you got people that will get on panels and say that even though he did these things, you know, he's really an intelligent guy. He can't be that intelligent, because any man that would put his dirty deeds on video transmission is not a smart individual. He's an arrogant individual, or narcissistic individual, an individual who thinks he's above the law, because that's what they arrested him for, as you know, or that you have heard this week. And then these are the charges that they found him guilty of in a court of law. Bishop was found guilty on charges of rape, false imprisonment.
Information
is power. False imprisonment and sharing 3 pieces of sexual explicit content on social media, as I just said before, because that's what the first these are the reasons why they arrested him in the first place. So he wasn't very conscious. He wasn't very intelligent. The man was full of himself. I'm going to break some things down. As someone that works in mental health, I've heard people give these definitions about what is a narcissist, and a lot of those definitions are very surface-like. I'm going to give you the clinical definition of what a true narcissist is, but not only is he a narcissist, which it plays into that, this man is also a psychopath. And a psychopath is someone who does not have empathy, sympathy, or care about others. They see other people as nothing. You can define, or you can well, let me say this. You can observe psychopath traits in people even as when they're very, very young. You have people when they grow up as kids, they do cruel things to animals. They seem to get off on it. The difference between a person who has an empathetic mind and brain is that if I was to show you pictures of a car accident or some horrible crime that took place in which someone's life was taken, and I showed you these pictures, folks, you would look at those pictures. Matter of fact, you would look away and say, I don't want to look at that anymore. You couldn't stand the sight of it. You wouldn't get excited by it. Whereas a person who's a psychopath, they could look at these very pictures and say to themselves, it's very, very interesting. Okay?
Tell the truth.
They see it as interesting. They don't see it as horror. They see it as fascinating. They're almost turned on by it. This man, one of the main principles is that anytime you are following or subscribing to a person that is now telling you, like Jim Jones, and I know people who lost their life or lost their family in the Jim Jones massacre, what he did personally. Because the first ideology that they have is that they are God. And he said this quite a bit through a lot of his ideology. He even did a video where he was arrogant enough to talk about mind control and how he can, and how your spirit, your physical body is not the only thing that keeps you back, that you can also think on a conscious level, and that the people around you are nothing more than a sort of mimic of your conscious, your self-conscious, your physical understanding. He talked a lot of this ya, goo goo, ya, stuff that you hear out of the conscious community. Pseudo at best. Beware of anybody, black, white, or any race, who tries to get inside of your mind and your heart through using things that you can identify with, like history. You know, in the black conscious community, everybody wants to talk about history and pyramids and, oh, where did we come from? You got Negroes on YouTube arguing back and forth using religion, Hebrew, Israelite, Muslim religion, Christian religion, black people arguing and having these nonsensical debates about religion and where we come from, when the one principle that holds true is that black people, whatever we want to call ourselves, we are indigenous. I'm going to say it. Why would you limit yourself to saying that, we come from North America? This is where we come from, North America. Our origins is North America. Oh, our origins is in the continent of Africa. Our origins is in South America. Why would you limit yourself, if you're supposed to be so-called conscious? Why would you limit yourself to just a place on the planet? When, damn it, don't you know that black people are indigenous to the whole, not just the damn land, but the whole damn planet?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So why would you just limit yourself to that degree? But this is what hustlers like Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, and many others like him. Now, what is it about New York that keeps producing these psychopaths and telling me and you on social media that they've got the way, they're the knowledge, they're the top notch in society? And most of these Negroes that you see coming out of these conscious communities, they don't have a degree. They have no PhD in any goddamn thing. No, they have nothing that shows that they know what the hell they're talking about, other than the fact that they may have read some books, or they're very good at reading books and regurgitating the bullshit that's in the books to make you think that they're the smartest pencil in the box. They're just reading and regurgitating. And how do we even know that the shit that they're reading, that the people who publish it even know what the hell they're talking about as well? There's a lot of pseudo-science, a lot of pseudo-history that comes out of these so-called black conscious communities that come out of the streets of New York, the streets of any damn place around this country, who can gather a large following because these Negroes can debate all day long about all this religious jargon, and everything you know about religion or anything is because some man told you. I'm basically laying the blueprint for how individuals like this get created and where they come from and who puts them on. You see, you have people who have YouTube channels. Y'all know it, Sidnetta TV. He has introduced a lot of these buffoons to our community. They go over there and they get their licensing, or they get their what do you call it, their street cred, to be able to say, this guy is legitimate, let's follow him. Let's be honest, over the years, people have interviewed him. Brother Sanchez, I talked to him last night. He has a video in which he interviewed a Nature Boy, but he said in interviewing him, it was more of sort of challenging the bullshit that he was doing. But you had people that were praising this man as that he was the real damn deal. You got the individuals like the young pharaohs, the polite, another individual. Where did he come from? This so-called, and I say so-called because it ain't truly conscious. They are producing guys that are pedophiles, guys that we already know that this man right here told you that no matter who his leader did, whatever his leader did, in this case, Dwight Malachi York, he told you, and I played it on this channel and many other channels have played this. This man right here comes out of the same, he's cut from the same damn cloth as Nature Boy. Cut from the same goddamn cloth. They both come from that New York area. They both arrived from that so-called, and I say so-called again, black conscious community, which ain't that conscious, because all you have to do is, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the God's truth, folks. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. These individuals have come out of that movement there. This man introduced to us by the likes of the Sidnetta TV program. Then we know that who else will we introduced by way of these YouTube networks who have introduced us to these drifters, these grifters, these liars, these pretenders. There we have once again Polite, who is now also in prison because he did irresputable, inappropriate behavior with an underage minor. And we still got people on YouTube to this very day, probably even watching in the chat room right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I see you in the chat room. I appreciate you here. I will shout out names when I have a chance, but I must stick to the presentation that I hope that you're getting something out of so far. You're going to get a lot more today. We're going to critically analyze this whole thing. You see, Polite is in jail because of his misdeeds in treatment with an underage, just as this man right here has engaged in the same behavior. And another thing I must say too is that how did this man get women to flock to him? Well, look at him. A tall brother, a muscular brother, not that bad looking on the eyeballs of females. So he was able to allure them, just like R. Kelly, the same kind of bullshit, except he's not a singer, but he's fast with his tongue, good with his tongue, and he's not bad looking to the women.
Tell the truth.
So therefore, he was able to mislead them with all of this bullshit. Now, I want to talk about a brother that I was with on Sanchez's show last night by the name of Brother Bobby Knight was on the show. He said some critical things on the show last night that I agree wholeheartedly. If you notice what Nature Boy, a.k.a. Eligio Bishop, did, is that he preyed on the young minds of young black people. He got them when they were 18, 19, 20, 21. And the brother made a good point, because this point I'm going to make as well is a fact. We know that the mind, today you're going to get a comprehensive program, because we're going to give you not only our personal thoughts about this situation, but we're going to give you clinical information here. We know that the brain does not fully develop until after 25 years of age. So when you are a predator, just like R. Kelly going after very, very young ladies and minors, a predator knows its prey and knows who is capable of being turned to their hypnotics, their words, their game that they play. It is not a coincidence that this man was able to carouse women and young men to follow him, because he got them in the prime of their life when their brains are still developing and they are impressionable. He got them at a stage in their life where they're looking for something greater than themselves. Then you have to ask yourself, how is he able to continue this manipulation all these years on social media? Why wasn't he neutralized a long time ago? This is what I wanted to say in the beginning. Remember, how many of you in the chat room put sevens in the box if you remember this? The video where he was doing inappropriate things with a little minor male child and was saying things about the private area. How many of you remember that? Eligio Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy, as I scratch my damn ears as well as him, he should have been finished after that. Why didn't we call for him to be neutralized? Let's be honest. This man had views. He got attention. You know primarily why? Because black people were fascinated by what was going on video. Black people were fascinated by how he was treating the women. As you could see the women fighting over him and biting each other's nipples. What a damn shame that was. This is why I don't want to hear anybody today, tomorrow, or any goddamn year sit up here and tell me, well, Do you think he got a harsh sentence because he got 10 years and he got life? I would simply ask you, if it was your daughter, your son, your child, your family member, how would you feel? Would you care about what their sentence is? Would you care if they got a harsh sentence if he touched or manipulated your daughter? Because that's what cults do. They isolate you from your family members. Let me give you a definition. Let me give you a clinical working definition. According to the American Psychological Association, does have more information on this if you look deeper into them. A cult is a religious or a it's a religion or a religious or a quasi-religious group characterized by unusual, atypical beliefs in which they seclude you from the outside world. Didn't he take these people to Honduras where the people in Honduras got their ass out of there? And of course, he went on video and audio talking about how they got ripped off in Honduras, how when they were in Honduras, in South America, that they couldn't get out of there. They were trying to get out, but their passports got stolen. And he talked about how there was this stamp that they had to go back, that everybody there seemed to have a network that was grifting on them, but yet he was grifting as well, taking control of their passports, right? A cult is a religion or quasi-religious group of characterized by unusual, atypical beliefs, seclusion from the outside world, and an authoritarian structure. You know, when Jim Jones did what he did at the People's Church, and when I was a kid, I could literally walk past the People's Church, knew people who were in the damn People's Church. One of the typical things that Jim Jones would do is what? Separate people from their families, get them to give him their possessions, their deeds to their homes, all sorts of things. He particularly preyed on the women. Begin to tell people he was God. Authoritative structure. Jim Jones would do things like, imagine being woke up out of your sleep at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, where you have to listen to someone give you a speech for hours to brainwash you, to culturally condition you to their will, to their words, to their hypnotic abilities. Authoritative structures. Apparently, it requires more than you blindly following someone. The thought that is certainly a component. That is certainly a component that can I get someone? Can he get these people to blindly follow him? And then you may say, well, these must be weak-minded individuals. There's something in psychology called a temperament. We are all born with a temperament of how much pressure we can take, how much we can be swayed, right? Some people are very calm under pressure and they don't bust like a pipe. Some people, when they get to a certain pressure, they burst, because we all have a different temperament. It doesn't necessarily mean because people get involved in a cult like the coronation that it necessarily means that they're weak-minded. There are certainly some weak-minded people, but you can have some people that are quite intelligent. But for some reason, they can be led by someone who is saying all the right things that fit their ideology, because a predator studies his prey, as I told you. A predator will study exactly what you like to eat, what you like to do. How are you when you get angry, when you get sick? Because in psychology, this is the reason why we do not allow and we do not want to put psychopaths in therapy groups, because psychopaths, when you put them in a therapy group, they learn to be better psychopaths because they're normally in that group studying the behaviors of the people that's in the group around them that they can manipulate. Master manipulators. So they'll sit there and they'll listen to your problems, to your story, to the issues that you're going through, and they're taking mental notes to see how they can manipulate you. This is what these cult leaders do, and it's certainly what Eligio Bishop was all about. He was all about talking all this fancy stuff about science and being in or out of your body and consciousness versus non-consciousness and all this spirituality talk, which we know that black people in general, we are very religiously and spiritually oriented based on how we grew up, the people in our family that we've been exposed to when it comes to religion and spirituality. So he knew that saying those words would connect, because predators want to connect with their victims, you see. And he was able to do that. Manipulation. Let's go right here with another one. I want to break down the narcissist component, because people get this wrong. Narcissistic personality disorder, which is NPD, is characterized by a persistent pattern of grandiose fantasy. Isn't he grandiose? Hasn't he been a grandiose individual? Talks in fantasy, talks about we're going to be in paradise, talks about we're gods, I'm the god. All of that is grandiose thinking, fantasy thinking. And then this whole idea of having unlimited power or importance or the need for admiration or special treatment. These are what narcissists actually thrive on. And I'm going to give you another definition that goes even deeper than the one that I just gave you, because a lot of people on YouTube, social media, throw the word around, really don't understand what the hell they're talking about half the time. They kind of stay on the surface of it, but it goes deeper than that. I want to also tell you, out of this black conscious community came a man. Something is off, because where did they learn all this stuff? Well, Dwight York. There he is, looking like an R&B singer. That's the man who these individuals like Polite got their lessons from, and even someone like Nature Boy, aka Eligio Bishop, also gets his lessons from. This is the man that they follow. This is the man that they got their lessons. Even Polite told you on video that he would still follow his leader and teacher, such as York, and he ain't a doctor, y'all, so stop calling him Dr. York. The man has no PhD. Like I told you, a lot of these dudes that come out of these so-called conscious communities around this country who can talk all this good shit, because most of them can talk all this good shit because they read books. Some of them wanted to be rappers.
Tell the truth.
Some of them spent time in prison where they had a lot of time to read books and regurgitate what they read in the books to hustle you and me.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Like, I'm going to say it again. Some of these so-called, you got them, they're all over YouTube. Some of these guys wanted to be rappers. Some of these individuals really wanted to be academic scholars, but didn't have the grades or the ability to get into damn school. Some of them were criminals, committed crime, went to jail, and became a jailhouse PhD by reading books and thinking that they could come out of prison and thinking that they're going to be the next Malcolm X. There ain't never going to be another Malcolm X. There's only one Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X left a legacy of doing something. These Negroes just do a lot of talking and arguing about religion, when we all been bamboozled by religion and arguing about what part of the planet you come from, when common sense would tell you if black people are Aboriginal, or if black people Aboriginally really means from Australia. None of us, I'm not from Australia. But the truth of the matter is, why would you limit yourself to a goddamn piece of land somewhere when the whole damn planet belongs to you? You see, these guys were led by a criminal himself. Let's put York up here again. Remember, York went to jail, got 135 years. York was sentenced to 135 years for his molestation of underage minors. And you still got people today on YouTube and social media that are going to bat for him, that are making arguments for him, saying he didn't do this. But yet I've got a video today I will show you where he actually is being sentenced and he admits to what he did. Why is it that these so-called conscious folks want to ignore that fact that there's actual video footage of him admitting that he was of sound mind when he admitted in court to touching underage minors?
Tell the truth.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when you say, how do we get the polites? How do we get the Eligio bishops of the world? Because they all followed Malachi York's teaching. And all these Negroes have one thing in common. They all come out of New York.
Tell the truth.
I'm not indicting everybody in New York. I'm simply saying it's not a coincidence. I'm simply saying the truth. These Negroes come out of New York. And they proclaim themselves to be the most intelligent on the planet. Yet they keep producing guys out of these so-called conscious communities. They keep producing people who can't keep their hands off of underage. They keep producing psychopaths who go out and they grift black people. We got black people who get on YouTube from these so-called conscious communities who get on YouTube to grift black people, trying to sell you something. Trying to sell you on, oh, I got this special food. I got this special powder, this special supplement, man, that's going to make you more conscious. That's going to make you stronger, healthier. Always is power. Always trying to sell black people bullshit. The B ladies in the house. Black Anonymous is in the house. Jill's Chocolate Boutique is in the house. Oh, let me see your transcripts is in the house. Thank you. The Dr. Nicky is in the house. NPW. All this bullshit. We have to examine the bullshit. I've got video for you all because today I want to say this. On this picture you see right here, here goes some black men right there. I'm going to say something that's going to be unpopular for people to hear, but it's got to be said. And then you got ladies on here, and you still have women that defended him and said that he's innocent after he was convicted just a few days ago. I got to ask you, he went down. He's getting 10 years and he's getting life. And guess what? I don't give a damn about whether he got a wrongful, got too much time for most people who do that crime. But you got to remember something very important. Every state has different laws as it relates to doing things that he did, right? Every state has a different law. And matter of fact, wasn't it York, the R&B singer, York? Didn't he get convicted in Georgia? Georgia is not playing with y'all when you start engaging in these type of criminal activities. So York was also sent downriver in this same state, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we know, and I said this on Brother Sanchez's show last night, and we know that black men and black women, when it comes to the criminal system, that we always get a larger and heavier sentence than our white counterparts. That is absolutely true. But this kind of monster, Eligio Bishop, needs to be off the streets. He needs to be off the streets doing the things that he was doing. But I also have to point a finger at this situation. You see, you had men that were following this buffoon. And you have to ask yourself, how many of these dudes were complicit in the things that Eligio Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy, was able to get away? Because a cult leader doesn't get away with what they do without help, y'all. He could not do it without the assistance of those involved in his cult, and as well as the women. He had to have women and men who were willing to assist in this bullshit. He had to. He didn't do. A cult leader doesn't do anything by themselves. They have to have people that's willing to assist in the bullshit. Now, you all know Brother Truth, who's sitting way in the back. From what I understand, Truth was his right-hand man. Truth testified against him. Keep this in mind, how the so-called criminal system works. Sometimes people will cut a deal to keep themselves from going to prison by turning over state's evidence, and may cut a deal to say, hey, I'll testify against.
Information is power.
I'll testify against Nature Boy if it means that I don't do no time in jail. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Put those ones or put those sevens in the chat room if you're getting my premise here. Sometimes people will turn over state's evidence. What's going on? A view is a view, another CG. Sometimes people will turn over state's evidence to cut a deal for themselves so that they don't go to jail. You can't tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that they're not, as much as these men and women were victims of Eligio Bishop, you have to also say there were some of them that were complicit and just as psychopathic and nutty as him, that got off on the things that he was doing, as well as being a victim themselves. But at the same time, none of these men and none of these women completely stopped this man, even though some of them left Carbonation. Those that were lucky enough to leave and get out, they left. But my question is, if Truth was his right-hand man, what deal did Truth or any of these folks cut to make sure that they didn't do any time because they were willing to testify against him? Remember this report, ladies and gentlemen.
How does the jury find? Count one is rape. Guilty.
A guilty verdict on all charges against an alleged cult leader accused of raping a follower who tried to escape. Good evening, I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Jurors in DeKalb County came back with 5 guilty verdicts against alleged sex cult leader Eligio Bishop. But he wasn't even in the courtroom to hear the verdict.
Fox5's Tyler Fingert has been following this trial since the beginning. He joins us now with a closer look at that verdict and the sentence Bishop will face. Tyler?
Yeah, Russ, good evening to you. Alleged cult leader Eligio Bishop is now a convicted rapist, and just moments ago, the judge sentenced him to life without the possibility of parole.
I understand that you all have reached a verdict. Is that correct?
After about 6 hours of deliberations, a DeKalb County jury found alleged cult leader Eligio Bishop guilty of all 5 charges he faced, including rape and false imprisonment.
Guilty.
The jury found Bishop raped a former group member as she tried to escape the alleged cult Carbon Nation and then posted revenge porn of the woman online. Bishop wasn't in the courtroom for the verdict because of COVID concerns, but watched from the DeKalb County jail and let out an audible noise before the judge ordered his mic off.
All right. Go ahead and mute courtroom C, please.
A woman who has covered the group online for years believes the jury got it right.
I believe that it's a just verdict. I believe that the courtroom today was very quiet and somber.
Following the verdict, Judge Stacey Heydrich moved right into the sentencing hearing where Bishop's victims testified. He appeared to make fun of them.
He said my soul belonged to him.
and there was absolutely no saying no to him. You were our guy. Now you're a prisoner, but you a prisoner to us.
Bishop then addressed the judge.
I forgive you, and I still love you.
There you go right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's when he was sentenced. As I said before, a psychopath has no empathy or sympathy for others. He's a psychopath. I know a lot of people like to use the word a narcissist. He's a narcissist. A psychopath has components of narcissism. And that main component is that you don't care about anybody but yourself. When I was on Brother Sanchez's show yesterday, we were talking about the issue of whether he may have a mental illness. Now, I don't bring this up because we want to make excuses for Bishop, but the truth of the matter is, if he's in prison or going to prison or has been in the county, they are going to give him, if they have not already, a battery of tests, evaluation as to whether he may be mentally ill. Now, I can't diagnose the man in terms of, well, he has this or not. I would imagine that he's got some issues, but if they gave him a battery of tests, and I'm sure his lawyers, his goofy lawyer who kept saying the okie doke in the court. Did y'all hear that statement where his lawyer said the okie doke? And maybe he can appeal his case based on the fact that he may not have had good counsel. But either here or there, if the lawyer said, I want my client to be tested for any mental illnesses, the reason why they would do that, to see if he's unfit to stand trial, meaning to see if he's not conscious enough or culpable enough, or what we call sane enough, competent enough to stand trial, competency. If they found that to be true, then they probably would have never, you never would have witnessed what you witnessed in the video. It would have been handled differently if he was seen as incompetent to stand trial. It is obvious that he was competent to stand trial because even though they didn't have him in the actual physical courtroom due to COVID, they said, he still was at his trial. So the issue about that could either go both ways. He could either you could still have a mental issue, but still be conscious enough to stand trial for your dirty deeds. Just keep that in mind. Now, as I said before, the people that he victimized, the women, the men, they are victims. It is horrible what they did, but don't get me wrong. I can't help but wonder how many of them, particularly like Truth, how many of them were sort of complicit in what this man was able to do, and that they cut a deal to testify against him, not only because they felt that they were victims themselves, but also as a way to keep themselves from being tried or prosecuted for any role that they may have played in the empowering of this psychopath. But let me let you hear that video right now when people that he victimized were in court expressing themselves about how they felt about him. And once again, he, as you have already heard out there on the YouTube streets, he sort of laughed, chuckled, sort of didn't take it serious. And let me tell you this, for those of you out there who say, well, why did he get such a harsh sentence? In the news videos, they said because he showed no empathy and sympathy, because he was sort of disrespectful to the court and to the victims, that played a role in them jacking up his charges because he showed no nutrition. But let me let you hear a little bit of this. I'm going to move some of this up and down, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Tell the truth.
For the past 2 years, I woke up in the morning, relieved that it was just another nightmare and that I am not actually still in the cult of carbonation under the control of Eligio Bishop. When I left home in 2017, 5 days after my 24th birthday, to join carbonation, I was excited to pursue a lifestyle focused on growth and community. Bishop said we have to be the change we want to see in the world. We are the ones that are the creators of peace and harmony here on earth. And I believed him. At first, I felt empowered. I thought finally I found the answers to all of my life's questions. Finally, my prayers for a brighter future have been answered. Never did I ever imagine the trauma I would go through in some of the most beautiful locations in the world.
I want to say peace to No Nonsense, everybody, Brother Blaze, everybody that's in there, Trip 6, Flick, thank you for coming over, Jill's Chocolate Boutique, Narratives and Dialogue. I really appreciate everybody who's come over. What I'm going to do, because this video is very long, and I'm pretty sure some of you have seen bits and pieces of this already, what I'm going to do is play certain segments of it when people are talking about this monster, and then I will move it up to other, because I want to get to the part where Truth, who I kind of called out here about what role he played, but don't get me wrong, they're all victims. But keep this in mind, a cult leader cannot do what they do without people assisting them in their fuckery. Let's play this, and then I'll move it up to other areas so that we can get to the point of it. Thank you.
But now I know he used the natural beauty of those places to attract young people who weren't fully aware of their own beauty and potential so that he could exploit them.
Take heed to the message. What's going on, my sister?
He inspired many of us to drop out of school, to stop pursuing
Sincerely, I see you over here, my sister. Sincerely. Sincere. What's going on, my sister?
Our family and young children.
Trap vision.
Only in what he provided for us. He knew exactly how to make every person he recruited feel
Kendra
special,
G.
like they had something great to contribute to the community.
The B lady.
He love bombed us, especially the women, so that he could slowly gain our trust. He waited until I trusted him and had developed a friendship with the woman he was with to lure me in to his tent with him, saying we would just watch him leave, while he schemed to take something that was so valuable.
Yes, it is heartbreaking.
So he could use
yes, it is.
To hang over my head every single day. He said my soul belonged to him, and there was absolutely no saying no to him. I was trapped psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically, while Bishop went live regularly on social media to brag about his power and control over
D. Allen, thank you for being here.
He said he was God, and we were his servants and slaves.
Right there, folks. I had said that before, that a narcissist will say things like they are God. Let me just go ahead and do this and get this portion out the way. This is very important, what I'm about to read to you. And I will move this up to other areas to get to the point, because I don't want to keep you all here super long, but this is very important. This is a more expanded definition of what a narcissist is. Remember, he kept putting out that he's a god, right? Espousing this sort of nonsense. A narcissist personality disorder, NPD, is a psychological disorder characterized by a persistent pattern of grandiosity, as I said before, fantasies of unlimited power. This is for people who don't have your definitions correct, or importance in the need for admiration or special treatment, a core cognitive, affective, interpersonal, and behavioral feature, including impulsivity, velocity, attention seeking, or attention seekers. They also have low self-esteem, y'all. Unstable interpersonal relationships. He was very destructive with the way he dealt with the women and the men, but particularly the women. That resulted in the previous patterns of interpersonal difficulties, occupational problems, and this comes out of the DSM-5, y'all. I have to look at these things at work, right? Now, this is in the DSM-5. There is a DSM-6, but it still remains the same patterns. self-esteem, unstable interpersonal relationships that result in previous patterns of interpersonal difficulties, occupational problems, significant psychosocial distress. Hear what I'm saying. Psychosocial distress. Previously estimation of an NPD. NPD is narcissistic, is short for narcissistic personality, ranging from 0. Now, here are the age groups who usually has this shit. Because a lot of people talk about this stuff on YouTube, but don't have their facts together. From 0 to 6.2% in the community sample, of those individuals diagnosed with NPD, 50% to 75% are males. The diagnosis in the Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, 5th edition of the DSM, classifies narcissistic personality as a cluster B personality. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
Cluster B personality goes deeper than some of the definitions that I hear people bringing up. A dramatic emotional. Now, check this out. A dramatic emotional and erratic personality disorder, a category that also includes antisocial personality or behavior, a borderline personality. Borderline people, they muck up everything and they blame everybody, never take account for the things that they do. Borderline. And check this out. This is a Bishop, aka Nature Boy, 100%. They're histrionic and personality disorder. And part of personality disorders is histrionics. God damn it. This is the information man. Let's get back to it. Listen to what I just said to y'all.
Attention and power. He saw himself as untouchable. No one was going to hold Bishop accountable, and so he would only drink bigger and more violent, while many of us under his control got sucked into the nightmare of his world. Slowly but surely, the lines became blurred, and he made changes to the rules and roles of everyone as he saw fit. Suddenly, we were bowing at his feet because he said it was for our own good. Then we were publicly shamed and humiliated as he made us relive our childhood traumas and traumatic memories, forcing us to talk about it on live streams for thousands of people to see. Finally, he controlled all of the relationships for his own sexual deviance. I'll never forget after me and my husband had our child, and he told us we couldn't be together. He made me move out of the room with my husband and child and into the room across from his, against my will. And he told me because he broke my virginity that I belonged to him. I was his property, and I had to have sex with him.
You hear what she just said? That he was his property. This is sick stuff. I'm going to move it up in a little bit.
He would walk in as I was getting dressed and talk about me sexually. At that time, I was married and a mother to a 2-year-old, and he didn't care. He restricted me from seeing my husband and our child so that I could, what he called, focus on him. What meant
Did you hear what she said? She said he would not allow her. This is the narcissist. This is the histrionic. This is the narcissist that he is. This is the guy who thinks he's a god. He would not let her spend time with her kid or even see her man because he wanted her to put attention on him. This is no more than the component that I just told you, which is the low self-esteem. People like him have low self-esteem and they need people to build them up, to give them attention, to make them the focus of everything. This is beyond just being a narcissist. This is a trait of a psychopath, y'all.
Catering to his every need, whether that be helping him get dressed every morning, brushing his teeth, giving him massages, cooking his meals, doing sexual favors while he recorded video, and sending him nude photos of myself. What God wanted, we were required to give.
What God wanted, we were required to give. Did you just hear what she said? What God wanted, we were required. See, this is the thing that bothers me. This man should have been done. He should have been finished when he was on that video some years back with the little boy and was talking about private areas as he was looking at the little boy. That should have been enough to counsel him out and to eliminate Nature Boy. The black community on YouTube, we should have been the first ones, black people that were really into Nature Boy, looking at this stuff. He should have been counseled out by the black community on black YouTube. To me, there's no way he should have been able to flourish all these years in the way that he did. Let's hear this some more.
And we had to give it with a smile, like we enjoyed it. I and so many other women there have no choice but to give up our own right to make decisions and disregard our authentic thoughts and feelings, because he said that we didn't have our own mind and needed to replace our thoughts with his. There were consequences if we didn't listen and follow his instruction exactly. At first, we were just instructed to do squats and push-ups, then it escalated to being isolated in the closet for days at a time and standing in the corner naked for at least 3 hours. And eventually, he would introduce extreme verbal and physical punishment. After all these people coming to join his life since becoming Nature Boy, and though none of us were forced to come, every single one of us was deceptively recruited. We trusted him and thought he had our best interests, and he knew this. No one volunteered to be taken advantage of.
So I'm going to stop it right there and move it up to the next person that's going to be talking about him. And let me go, that's the judge.
God that lives within us all, you've made this possible, and your presence is noticed in all of this. And even to Mr. Booker, for doing your best, for trying, at least, to give him a fair trial. But we all know Mr. Bishop is not fair. Mr. Bishop Babaji has been a monster to us all, and we try to see the best in him. He has tortured all of our souls and said he would send us to the abyss if we ever defied him. He made us believe that he was Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And for that alone is punishable. I hope this opens his eyes. And I pray that the people who are there with him are set free themselves, so they can stop living in the illusion that this man has placed on our minds. When I first came across carbonation, I thought I had a family. And I thought I could live free and fulfill our mission with the people that was appointed to be the gods and goddesses on earth. But it was torture for me. I cried at night and trembled that day. Eligio, you made us to be liars when we lived in truth, wanted to live in truth. The harassment was dreadful for me, especially around my pregnancy. You demolished Eligio. You demolished our connection with God, just so you can be God. And you haunted our dreams like the monster you are. You damaged us all. You confused us all. You made love something we should be fearing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is horrible. I hate that you guys have to listen to this. It's horrible, but this is the kind of individual that he was. Let me move this up because there's other people who had some things to say, and I want to get to them as well. Let me get to here's where truth. This is the part that I wanted to get to. Here's truth. Let's play it now. Hope you all can hear. Put sevens in the chat room if you are hearing the audio.
I had to click a button that said to ask you to start your video. So, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Hold on one second. Let me start your video. Let him start your video.
Yeah, Mr. Dixon, if you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm the evidence you'll give to the court today will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, you can put your hand down and introduce yourself, please.
Yes, sir, my name is Aaron Dixon. I'm just going to be brief. I don't think that.
Now, that's Aaron Dixon. That's he went by the name Truth, if I'm not mistaken, folks. And if I'm not mistaken, he was the right-hand man of Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, if I am correct. And I'm not saying that he's not a victim himself, but I do wonder if he might have cut a deal, because you can't tell me that there weren't other people that were somewhat complicit, if not completely complicit, with the shit that he was doing. But let's hear what Truth has to say here.
Anybody in the world has led a perfect life, a life that doesn't have mistakes, a life that doesn't have shortcomings. But the difference, the distinct difference about Mr. Bishop is that even in this moment, as he sits in a very serious position, he's in disbelief as if he's done nothing wrong. And the danger behind that is that in order to change your behavior, you have to first acknowledge that a change needs to be made. Mr. Bishop has an inability to see his own shortcomings, which means he will never change, which means he should never be in the vicinity of a normal functioning human being. I personally believe that all mistakes are forgivable if a person has the courage to admit that they even made a mistake. And I will say, Judge, I've met some unique people in my life, but this is the very first time that I believe that I've ever met a psychopath in real time. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the state has by way of evidence. We do have argument at the appropriate time, but we would reserve that.
All right, and.
Am I allowed to speak at all?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Did you have any witnesses?
What I'm going to do, there's another brother that was part of this carbonation cult. I'm going to move it up so that you can hear his thoughts. And okay, here he is right there. Let's hear what this brother has to say. I'm pretty sure some of you will recognize who he is that have been following this for a very long time in terms of from its very beginnings. Once again, I'm just going to let you all know that we can't allow this to happen again because you know that there's going to be another so-called wannabe nature boy or another so-called wannabe polite. There's going to be someone that's going to try to fill the void. And I'm telling you, we can't allow another 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these characters to rise up. We should have learned from York. York should have taught us the lesson that was necessary. You would think that we would learn from what this man did, who is actually the teacher, who's actually the origins of where a lot of these guys get their teachings. And you would think that we would learn from that to not let individuals like this or individuals like this be able to show their naked head. Let's go back.
So help you God.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down and introduce yourself, please.
My name is Courtney Townsend, and yes, I have been on a journey with everyone that spoke, and I have been very close to Mr. Bishop during this entire journey. And thank everybody for sharing what you shared.
There's that brother right there to the far left, and he's completely right. You all know who these folks are. Those of you who have been following this for quite some time.
And thank you, Aaron, for saying what you said as well, bringing that clarity and even offering some medicine to the table for him to hold on to while he's in there. And for me, I had to realize that everybody is on a spiritual journey, Not everybody really acknowledges it. However, we're all there. I didn't realize that my purpose and being myself was all that I needed. I felt like I was missing pieces. I was missing my father. And I was so gung-ho on changing the world, I was willing to change myself to the detriment of me. I found all of my gifts and all of my affinities to be the very things that were shut down and arrested while I was at Carpenter Nation. All of my skills and gifts and abilities that could have me in a whole other position in my life were the very things being suppressed while I offered my daily vital energy to Eligio Bishop because I believed that he believed in empowering people truly. And instead of taking us to sovereignty, he ended up playing as what I would consider to be an antichrist. Anything that takes you away from your connection to the divine for yourself. However religion you found it, whatever mantras, practices, or meditations you use, that's your own. And I hope that everybody can align to their purposes. Everybody can get on track with their lives. A lot of people don't realize what we have to do to recover from giving away everything, cutting off all of our family.
I want to say something right here, and I talked about this on Brother Sanchez's platform last night. It's going to take, they're going to have years of healing, but I'm going to be honest with you, when you've been culturally conditioned, brainwashed by being in a cult, this is going to be with them for the rest of their life. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, all they need is a little therapy and they'll be cured in a couple of years and they'll be, no. This is going to be a day by day, hour by hour. They're going to need to support one another emotionally. They're going to need counseling, but by no means do I think that all the years that they spent as part of this carbonation cult, that they're going to be able to scrub their minds of this experience and of the post-traumatic, the PTSD, the post-traumatic syndrome that they're going to experience, the waking up in the middle of the night potentially with dreams or cold sweats because they're having dreams and nightmares about their experience because their minds have been traumatized. As I said before, early on, and the brother that I was with on Sanchez's program the other night, speaking about the fact that he was able to capture their minds, and that's what predators do. He captured their minds early in their life at very young development of their minds and their brains, because your brain doesn't fully develop until after 25 psychologically. And so because of that sort of damage to the brain with being a part of this cult, it's going to take a lifetime for them to be able to get over this and move forward. And it's probably going to be with them for the rest of their life. It's just going to have to be how they manage it, how they manage and cope, and what they do to cope with the post-traumatic syndrome of this experience. Okay. And what this man has done is that he has now taken a group of young people who had great potential to do other great things. And now he has now created a situation where some of them are going to have, like I said, they're going to have depression. They're going to have anxiety, stress. When you have post-traumatic syndrome, there could be things that can remind you of your experience that was trauma. So now they are in for a lifetime of ups and downs and ever flows in their life. And the only way they're going to be able to make it is through supporting one another, having a support group, talking, counseling, taking it one day at a time. That's the only way. There's no other way. There's no easy pill. Some of these folks are going to be on psychotropic meds. They're going to have to take some medications for their clinical depression because of their involvement with this man. This man has left a trail of disaster. And what's sad about this is to see a black man. You know, we always talk about what white society has done to black people, but to see black people be victimized by another black man And black people victimized themselves and each other if they were complicit in leading the bullshit that he was putting out. This is really, in the 21st century, this is unbelievable. Let's go back to this video.
Members and even ourselves, losing ourselves psychologically for so many years, what it takes to recover from that. So I commend the strength of everybody who's stood up against Mr. Bishop, and he knows everything. There's nothing I need to say to him. He knows what he's done, and unfortunately, he's gotten away with too much. So I've always wanted to heal my generational curses in my family, me not having my father around as much as I wanted to, and I wanted to help change that in the world. We ended up perpetuating generational curses, creating more situations for the children to have to recover from.
You see what he's saying? He talks about, he's making my point as well about generational curses, because this now will be a generational curse. All these folks that were part of this cult, if they have kids, if they already have children, I know some of them do have children, their children are now going to be impacted by what has happened to their mothers and their fathers. The children now are going to grow up having to see their parents show the emotional scars. They're going to see the emotional scars of what this experience has done. So this man has he's hurt a generation, and this may leap over to other generations of their children who will be impacted by what has happened to their parents being a part of this buffoonery. Let's get back.
Due to our current situations now, but I know there's a lot of power in the tongue, and I believe in the best for everybody. I believe that everybody is going to find their way, find their light, however that looks. And I'm proud of you all. You are all very strong. Ugly Mr. Bishop, your light is in the dark.
Yep, his light is in the dark. And thank you, Tiffany Jackson. You're right. Just like with Jim Jones, all those traumatized men and women and children who are walking or alive, if they're lucky to be alive today, are still impacted by what he did. Remember, Jim Jones he contributed to thousands of black people having their lives taken away because he made them drink the poison drink. Now, a lot of people don't realize when you hear that whole thing about don't drink the Kool-Aid, people make a joke out of that, but it's not really a joke because that term comes out of what happened when Jim Jones made black people take cyanide. Because remember, when Jim Jones did what he did, he took black people over to South America, took them to a place that they had nothing about. Remember, I said cult leaders like to isolate people. They know who their victims are. They'll isolate you. They want to centralize you to only focus on them. And that's what he did when he was going from Honduras to going over to other parts of South America. I believe at one point in time, they might have been, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room, were they in Hawaii at one point in time and got booted out of Hawaii? Let somebody in the chat room confirm if what I'm saying is true. So the whole idea, again, is to isolate you from friends and family, to make you only focus on them. It's the same thing that Jim Jones did. It's the same thing that Eligio Bishop was doing when he was phasing into this 3-God nonsense. And we all watch this stuff. And you got to ask yourself, the man is going to jail. The man is convicted. But then he did all this shit on YouTube. And one of the things I noticed, this is why they want us to destroy ourselves, everybody. Listen to what I'm about to say here. If you notice, throughout all the stuff that he did on his YouTube channel, and they used the YouTube videos against him because he exposed himself on YouTube. But isn't this interesting that YouTube will delete your channel for a variety of different reasons, right? But isn't it interesting that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that YouTube ever deleted his videos, took his channel down. When he started doing that 3 God nonsense, did they take it down? Did they penalize his channel? No. They let that channel stay up. They let those videos flourish and get views because they want us to destroy ourselves, folks. So YouTube will promote anything that's garbage, that's unintelligent. They'll push it through the algorithms and send it straight to black people. You can say the N-word 1,000 times. You can say nigga, just like Paul Mooney used to say, I say the word nigga so much, I brush my teeth with it. Nigga, 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 nigga. You can say that word 1,000 times on YouTube and still get a monetized video. So I want y'all to take that as food of thought, that why didn't YouTube take his channel down? Even though it was the YouTube videos that ultimately, you can make the argument that it's good that they didn't take it down, because ultimately it was the videos and all the other stuff he did on social media that eventually got him. But I do find it interesting that YouTube had no problem with allowing him to flourish on YouTube. I find that interesting. Don't you find that interesting? If you find that kind of interesting, you know, in terms of what I'm saying here, put 7s in the chat room. But let's get back to this part as we move forward in the presentation.
You already know your chart. You know, do your work, bro. Nobody's exempt. I'm not exempt. You're not exempt. Nobody here is. Love wins. And you had me thinking that love was an L, like a loss. Love was something to do away with. It was a weakness. And it wasn't, bro. It wasn't. It's the only thing that's kept me here standing strong to this day. So regardless of how people view me to this day from what we've done, I'm on a road to my own soul redemption, and I'm willing to do the work that it takes for.
Let me say this. Any black man that takes advantages of underage minors, any black man that does this to other black people in the way that Nature Boy did what he did, Eligio Bishop, is not a black man that's my brother. He's not a black man that I'm going to bat for. And he's not a black man that I give a damn about how much time he gets, because he's a black man that does not belong in our community, because he's a parasite. He's a predator. And any black person or any person of any race, creed or otherwise, that's a predator in any of our communities needs to be done away with. And let me also let you know, this is the psychology here. Just because people often think that if a person has sexual deviance about them, that you can somehow cure them by giving them some therapy groups, or somehow you can cure them because you can chemically castrate them. Let me tell you what happens. People who do these sort of sex type of things to the underage, right? Like a polite. There was a belief that if you just simply chemically castrate them, that it would make them stop the behavior. The behavior is not what's in their sexual organs. The behavior is in their brain. It's all in the brain, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't change the brain, and if the brain is not going to change what it's fixed, listen to what I'm saying. If the brain is fixed in its desire, you can't turn it off. For example, I'm a heterosexual man. There's nothing that's going to make me not want to be attracted to women. You can't change that in my brain. Even if I couldn't function with my organs sexually, it doesn't change that I desire to be with a woman in my brain. It starts in the mind first and then the body. Just to let you know that. Let's get back to this part again.
I need to become the best version of myself so that one day I can be the man for my children that, you know, I know I'm supposed to be. Not the man that you were, and not trying to become a man like you. I want to be a man like me. And thank you for everything.
Thank you.
that is.
I give that brother a clap because it takes a lot of courage to get up there and say the things that he's saying to be truthful. I'm going to say it again. All of them, everyone's a victim in this situation that was under his control. But I still can't help but wonder how many people were completely complicit in the things that he was doing, that they were cool with as well. We may never know deep down in the heart of where people are, but I do know that this is what usually happens. You get people to testify, to bring the leader of it all down, and people will cut deals for themselves to keep themselves from going to prison by spilling all the damn beans. And as it is, the man is, he's never getting out of prison. He's going to prison just like Nature Boy. Nature Boy is going to prison just like, what I meant to say is just like Polite. And Polite is cut from the same cloth. They both come from that so-called conscious community in New York. They both were big fans of Dwight Malachi York, who's not a doctor, so I'm not putting the D word on his name. Man has no doctoral education. Just a Negro that can talk fast and can tell you about moons and stars and aliens and the pyramids on the third plane and all that type of bullshit. They were led by a man who looked like an R&B singer. I'm just telling it like it is.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do next in the presentation, which I really appreciate everyone in the chat room that's here rocking with the channel. If you are new to the channel and this is your first time discovering the channel, definitely do me a great favor and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. I want to say thank you for watching tonight. Like and make a comment when you get an opportunity when this video is over, and subscribe. Share this video on your social media, your Facebook, your Twitter, all the good stuff, your community tabs. I really appreciate that. We're not finished yet. I've got some other stuff I want to present to you tonight. You all have been a great audience tonight, which I really appreciate. But what I want to do, I want to show you again how arrogant this man was when he was talking to the judge. I have a more condensed version. Here it goes right here. Very arrogant man.
Come on up to if you do, come on up to the podium. And we'll swear you in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to test the testimony about to give the truth? For sure. At all times.
All right, what is it you'd like me to consider?
I just want to say something to all of them.
Well,
I just want to say.
Just direct it to me, please, not to.
I'll direct it to you. I'll direct it to you.
Okay.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Notice that even when he is being before the court and a judge, he's still trying to play his nature boy manipulation. He's still trying to do his three God bullshit. Even while he is facing a long sentence, and as people were talking about the things that he did, he's laughing and grinning because he's a psychopath. It's just that simple, folks. And then he wants to get into his three God or his nature boy bullshit, saying, "Are you happy? And I love you." Even as he's being sentenced, he's staying in character. He's a damn fool. He's a damn fool.
I'm not answering any questions of yours, Mr.
I forgive you. I forgive you, and I still love you. I forgive you, and I still love you. I got nothing in my heart. I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset with you. I forgive you. I want you to know I still love you and forgive you. and kiss my baby girl and let her know I love her. And I love y'all. I don't have no, I promise you, you know how I am. In my heart, you know how I am. I still love you. I still love you.
All right,
I still,
I got
and
that.
don't hate me.
Okay.
Don't hate.
Is there anything
My
else?
heart light as a feather. I promise you I love you and I'm still here. I ain't missed one lick. I see what y'all doing and I want you to know I forgive you. And I see y'all in the end.
All right, thank you.
I love you.
All right, I just muted the courtroom. We're done with that.
What I want to say, everybody, and I want to say pick to book Alpha Arami, Dr. BOA. That's a very good brother there. I follow his channel. I'm also a member of his channel. Thank you, brother, for the $25 super chat. I really appreciate you. Check out his channel, especially the brothers out there. He's got a great channel. This brother gives great inspirational talk. The brother just has a great way that he expresses. He's the kind of brother that he holds you accountable for the things that you need to be doing to make your life better. Very spiritual brother, very deep brother. That's my man, Dr. BOA. Great brother there. Appreciate the super chat again, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for that super chat again, brother.
Information is power.
And I appreciate you. What you saw right there was his total lack of respect to the court as he's going off into his three God bullshit. The reality is that also, for those of you who say, well, why did he get such a long term? Later on in that video, the judge eventually says that because of his disrespect to the courts, because of his cavalier attitude, and how he was laughing at the victims as they were speaking, people that he victimized, he showed a disrespect. And therefore, that played a role in him getting the long sentence. But like I said, we know that most of the time black men are going to get a higher sentence than their white counterparts. But in this situation, I don't give a damn. It's irrelevant, because if that was your daughter, your son, if he did this to your family member, you wouldn't want him to see the light of day. And let me also tell you from my experience, most people who do sexual crimes and manipulating crimes and cult type crimes like he did, when they go to prison, nobody in society wants these people back out on the streets. Even in prison, these kind of guys are not popular amongst the prison population, who doesn't want to program with them, doesn't want to be around them, doesn't want to associate with them if they're not that type of criminal themselves. So why would we sit up here and try to get into this whole question of, his sentence, when we know how the criminal system works against black people? But we also know that this man did the deed. This man is a criminal. This man is sick. This man is a narcissist. This man, beyond narcissism, is a psychopath. And I broke those things down for you today. So he doesn't need our sympathy, because he didn't show any sympathy and empathy for the things that he did. Remember, AKA Nature Boy Bishop, Elijah Bishop, remember on video, there were videos where the women would be nursing their babies, and he wouldn't give a darn about them nursing a child, because he would still attempt to have sexual relations with them when they are in the middle of trying to take care of children. Y'all remember those types of videos from this man? So why would we have any sympathy for a monster like this? This is the type of thinking of a monster. Listen.
Just because you cannot seemingly manipulate the tree doesn't mean the tree is not you. The tree is your subconscious mind. You cannot consciously control it.
You see?
Your girlfriend, your so-called boyfriend, your child.
So he manipulates his victims with all this hooga, spaceman talk, alien ET dial home talk. E.T. come and get me. Ooga, ooga, moons and stars, and my conscious and my outer conscious. And even though I can't manipulate the tree, but I still can manipulate you through my conscious mind, because my conscious mind and my unconscious mind and my cerebellar glands in the back of the head. It reminds me of In Living Color. Remember In Living Color, what was that? What was the brother, Alan Wayne, the Damian, brother Damian Wayans? He did that character where he had that little kufi hat on, and he was in prison, and he'd be like the kaleidoscopes of the mastery of the cerebellar gland and my ability to understand history as the fluids flow down the gland. This is the type of Negro that y'all been listening to for years, that come out of the black conscious community in New York, and y'all think that this dude was hitting on something because he can say a few things and make you feel warm inside. E.T. foam home.
You feel that they are separate from you because you cannot manipulate them like you manipulate your body, and you're limited by your body, and your body makes you feel because you can't manipulate them in some kind of way that they are separate from you and they're moving on their own.
Oh, stop it, man. Let me say what's up to Patora Afro, Stephen Gilmore YouTube channel. Make sure y'all check that brother out. I got to get back over to that brother's channel. He does some really deep stuff on his channel. Jill's Chocolate Boutique, I see you. We got Master in the house. D. Allen Warren, good to see you over here. Judy, thank you for coming over. Tiffany Jackson. Eugene Steele, good to see you, brother. Black Anonymous, another CG friend. Hey, everybody, thank you. We got Faith in the house. Thank you for coming over. We got Tommy B saying, what's up, information man? Peggy Roster's in the house again. Narratives and dialogue. What's going on, my brother? 06 to you. Really appreciate you all. I'll be only taking up your time for just a little while longer before we get to conclusion. But y'all get what I'm saying about this guy, man. He says things. This is what a lot of these people like him, how they talk. They say things that sounds deep. That sounds like some shit that some of it might be correct on certain levels. But this is the type of jargon that he was using to manipulate his victims, y'all. Listen to this Celeban. Listen to this Galopio spirit shit.
But truly, they are your subconscious mind, as if you was in a fucking dream. We about to go deep.
We about to go deep, y'all.
If you can somehow grasp the perspective that you're in a dream and this is your subconscious mind, you will be awake and you will stay awake and you will be God and you will rule.
Boom! There he is, like I said. There he is as he's speaking to you, everybody. There he is. All of this stuff leads to one thing, this ideology that you're going to be a God. But when he says that, he's not talking about you being a God. He's talking about himself, but he's doing it in a roundabout way with all this self-conscious. If you can understand your self-conscious, and understand that you can figure out how to manipulate it, you can be a God. Let's have a 7-Up and a Coke and a smile.
If you can somehow grasp the perspective that everything is your fault. Oh, God. Here we go.
Everything is your fault.
Responsibility? Oh, no. We don't do that. We do not do that. Oh, no. Who did this to you? I did.
You see what he just did? You see the psychopathic traits in this man. He uses stuff that almost sounds kind of like, wow, this sounds pretty deep. But underneath this so-called deep stuff that he's talking lies a predator and psychopath. It always centers back on himself. Self-grandizement. This is the trait of psychopaths as well as narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. And I broke that down in deeper definition for you because some people need to get the definitions more clinical.
You ready? Here we go. You made not only your mother and father, you made every situation that you're in, and actually it is your subconscious mind playing itself to you. Life is a mirror playing itself to you. Every situation that you're in, every person that you fucking attracted to you in your life is you. It's a part of you. You must conquer. Everything is obstacles. Obstacles. And you must know the laws of nature. If you know the laws and you keep the laws of thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, if you keep the mind.
Stop it right there. How many of you have heard Polite, who's also another one of these prospects from over there? Another guy who's done some wrong things with underage and he's now in prison. Doesn't he speak the same way as well? Didn't Polite talk this fast talk? Except Polite was trying to get you to get him rich by talking you into investing in some of his so-called financial, telling you that he can make you rich because he was driving around with rented cars. But Polite, out of the same playbook as York, Malachi York, who they got all their teachings from, he did the same thing. He was fast talking. He would use the same type of quasi or same old pseudo-science talk about consciousness and pyramids and all that sort of shit. The same thing to lure you in. These guys are cut of the same cloth, as I said earlier in the program.
Law. You cannot go wrong. But see, and I said this earlier, everybody's a saint. Everybody is righteous until it's time to sacrifice. Till it's time to let some shit go that you truly care about. Till it's time to sacrifice. See, this is chess, not checkers. Your attachments are your obstacles. So you must...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as he said, your attachments are your obstacles. It sounds good. There may be a ring of truth to it, but all of this was his tools. Just like a doctor, a lawyer, a construction worker has tools that they use to operate. A doctor has tools to operate on your body when you're sick or to listen to your body. A construction worker has tools to break down asphalt to build a house or to hammer wood. These are nothing more than his tools, just like Polite had, which is his mouth, fast talking. These are tools that he's using, that he has used to sort of get into the minds of young people that are impressionable, to make them think that he's a god, that he can lead them, but to make them do things that are all about worshiping him as the individual, because people like himself are really weak, low self-esteem, but he needs to bring other people down to bring his self-esteem up and to control people. This is all this is about. You know, Nature Boy, if he was a righteous man, he could have done great things because, yes, he's a good orator. He can speak. He had some knowledge. He could have done great things if he was on the up and up. Even Polite could have done great things if he was on the up and up. But you see, once again, these are examples of black men who have some psychological issues, that have esteem issues. They want to be bigger than what they really are. They have only their mouthpiece, which they've used to manipulate people and to gain a fan base. And we have to really ask ourselves in Black YouTube and in social media, why do we gravitate to these cartoon type individuals and give them our time, our energy, and make them sort of social media famous? When we can watch everything that they do and see that everything that they're doing is wrong, and we would not approve it for our own family. You see, the reason why Eligio Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy, is a sick man, because it goes all the way back to when he was a child. And also his desire and fandom for Dwight Malachi York, who we know got 135 years for taking advantage of the underage in his cult that he ran. You see, I want you to hear a video from this same clip of Nature Boy telling you where he got his fetish and his lust for women and sex. Check this out.
Girl, big boy decisions. Oh, I've had the sweetest woman. The sweetest tell has came to me. They've gotten close. My subconscious is fucked up because my subconscious, no. See, when I was a little boy, I was a horny little motherfucker. I see the patterns in my own life because when I was a little boy, I used to sweep this Indian dude's, this little store, right, in the neighborhood, just for porno magazines. I didn't care if it was a white woman or a black woman. I was a horny little motherfucker, y'all. I used to jerk off all the time, bro. Like, and I know that sex to me, I love it. I had to understand it. 10 years, I was a male entertainer.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be precise here. We know that a lot of young men grow up and their first introduction to sometimes sexual material would be pornography, such as a porno video or maybe a Playboy magazine. So that's not an abnormal situation that young men could probably be introduced to because they find a magazine under their daddy's sofa or daddy's, they find something that their uncle or family member has, or they see it on the stands in the store. Yes, that can very well happen. But it does tell you something about his character because he's admitting at an early age that he was very obsessed with this sort of stuff. Okay. So it doesn't surprise me that he had this harem of women and he was very focused always on sex and people satisfying him. And you're also going to hear in this video, as I bring it right back to you, that he also admits his sexual behavior when he got involved in stripping and doing those sort of. Let's hear it.
Just for porno magazines. I didn't care if it was a white woman or a black woman. I was a horny little motherfucker, y'all. I used to jerk off all the time, bro. Like, and I know that sex to me, I love it. I had to understand it. 10 years, I was a male entertainer. I lived that life in that world. I understand.
Now, do you all remember? Put sevens in the chat room if you remember. He admitted that he was a male entertainer. But remember, he also admitted on video that he also, as a male entertainer, would take on gay men. That he would sell himself to gay men for the sexual favors for money. So he just told you that he was in the sexual industry for 10 years, stripping. And he is also admitted, and the receipts are out there, of allowing himself to be the pleasure of gay men. So he's messing with women, he's messing with men, you see, individual. And remember the video that he did where you had a young boy in the video and he was talking inappropriate things right next to the young child? That right there is exhibit A of what should have been the end of Eligio Bishop. That should have been the end of him right there. How many of you remember that? Put sevens in the chat room.
Everything is sex now in my life. I understand through sex. I understand life. Everything is intercourse. Everything is sex. Whether food you eat, people you deal with. Sex is nothing but an exchange of energy. It's a sacred exchange of energy. Life is a sacred exchange of energy. And so my subconscious mind knows that I like a woman, man. I love beautiful women. As soon as I see them, I'm like, I'm weak. Oh, and don't let her be natural. Don't let her be all natural. Don't let her be all 10. Oh. So it's Cam. I have 9 wives this year. 9 wives.
You see, he brags about having 9 wives. What is your thoughts about that in the chat room? This man just sat up here and bragged to you and me as if it's something so special that he has 9 wives this year when he posted this video some years ago. I want to know what your thoughts about that. He admits that. He gets off on that. He tells you the genesis of it, which is his obsession as a child, as a young man, his obsession with the lifestyle. In the industry for 10 years. Remember he said that? What are your thoughts, everybody? We're going to go back to that video and let it finish itself out. But it shows you the sick mind of this psychopath.
Each one I leveled out. Fuck out of here. No, the law says this. And it reminds me of Job in the Bible, the story of Job in the Bible, when the devil was walking through and said to God, I bet you I can make Job curse your name. And Job lost everything. And the last person, this is Job in his mind, the last person to try to break him was his wife. You see how the devil is able to use, the devil is your lower self. The self-hatred you have within your own self plays out into your reality. Shit, it's always there. It's always in the background. They call you shadows. They're always doubting. Everything in your background, it's always...
I want to tell you all something. As I said earlier in the presentation, and I'm going to go straight to this, Malachi York is the guy that both himself and Polite looked up to. Polite was already on the record prior to him being convicted for what he did to that minor in Florida. He was already on the record while talking to a young man on a bench saying that what if your master teacher was caught doing something inappropriate with, an underage? And the question was, would you still follow him? And Polite said that he would still follow. He was talking about this man, York, who was convicted. I also want to bring up and look at a smile on his face as he's put in the vehicle when he has his jumpsuit on. Look at him smiling right there. That's York. This is where they get their ideology from. This is who they looked up to. This is the guy that what everybody was talking about in New York as the conscious brother. He was a pedo. 135 years. He had the longest sentence of any case around the issue of pedo because he did it to multiple minors. Let's talk about another situation that came out of New York with African Bambaataa. Remember, I did a story on that some years ago. Zulu Nation Child Victims Act lawsuit, truth. They have this thing called Victimization Law Act in New York that was put upon African Bambaataa. Remember, you had B. Stinger, you had Hassan Campbell, all these guys that were saying that he did something to them back in the day out there in the Bronx. And this is another brother who is seen as the father of hip hop and was influential. And yet there were people who came out and accused him of allegedly of some mishap sexually. I'm just putting it out there because it seems to be these so-called conscious individuals that are labeled as conscious that seem to always come up on the radar with this type of shit. Let me show you a very exclusive video of this man right here. You still have people in these so-called conscious communities, which I don't see as conscious, because if you're conscious, you don't have to say you're conscious. And if you're conscious, you wouldn't accept or defend these monsters, whether it be a Polite or a Nature Boy or even Dwight Malachi York. You see, people are defending this man, saying that, oh, he was wrongfully convicted and he is the foundation of a Nature Boy, the mindset of a Nature Boy, because this is the guy that everybody was rocking with, that everybody was following, everybody thought had the answers. Well, let me let you know on a little secret here. Not really a secret. While Malachi York was convicted in court, he was tested to make sure he was of sound mind. He was given every reason, every ability to rebut what he was being accused of with kids. And in court, he said to the judge that he was of sound mind, and he pled guilty and admitted that he did do things with kids. Even though you got people running around on social media and YouTube and people that come from that era who are still defending him, just like you're going to have people that are going to still defend Nature Boy's ass. Unbelievable. Makes you scratch your ear. Makes you say, oops, upside the head. What's wrong with us? Right? What's wrong with us? There still will be people that will defend him. You even got people who still defend R. Kelly. Let me show you this exclusive video. This is Malachi York, the R&B singer. Let me let you see the video of when he was convicted and so that the truth,
tell the truth,
be told today and always be told by everybody.
Tell the truth.
That the man admitted himself in court that he did the deed and was asked, do you understand your rights? And do you understand the charges? And are you of sound mind? And he admitted it in court. This was a video from 16 years ago of the man that you're looking at right there, who you can make an argument is the godfather of this bullshit as it relates to the so-called individuals who come out of that so-called conscious community who have either been grifters, liars, and can't keep their hands off of kids, and they keep grifting and lying to you and me, while at the same time spending all their time running their mouths about religion and where we come from. this is going to be the conclusion of our program tonight. But let's watch this video of Malachi York. This is the foundation in the mind. This is where the mindset comes from. This, I'm going to say it again. This is a man that everyone looked up to. Remember, he made some type of city or whatever it was where he had pyramids and stuff, and he was walking around in Egyptian clothing. And you had people wearing them little goofy little hats on their head. Because he's a Mason or whatever. He's one of them Prince Hall Mason. He was a Prince Hall Mason. So he's on there looking all luxurious, trying to paint this image. We Egyptians and all this other bullshit. This is the foundation of your polites and your nature boys. And the people who knew what they were really all about, they gave them a platform to spill their garbage to us and knew they weren't no good. Shame on you. Check this out, y'all.
York, are you now influenced by alcohol, drugs, or narcotics? You understand you are charged with 40 counts of aggravated child molestation that you could receive.
They said, do you understand, Malachi York, that you're charged with 40 counts of molestation of children? Children, y'all. Let's play it again.
York, are you now influenced by alcohol, drugs, or narcotics? You understand you are charged with 40 counts of aggravated child molestation that you could receive a maximum sentence of 30 years in confinement for each count, that you're charged with 34 counts of child molestation, that you could receive a maximum sentence of 20 years in confinement for each count, that you're charged with 1 count of sexual exploitation of children, and you could receive a maximum sentence of 20 years in confinement, and you're charged with 2 counts of influencing witnesses, and you could receive a maximum sentence of 10 years in confinement for each count, and that you could receive a minimum sentence overall of 10 years on probation. I'm telling you the most and the least. Do you understand that?
Actually, Your Honor, it was 10 years aggravated child molestation, minimum 10 years.
But minimum then would be 10 years. You understand that? You understand you have a right to an attorney, and in fact, your lawyer, Mr. Aurora, is here with you and representing you. Is that correct? I'm going to inform you of certain other rights that you have, Mr. York, and inform you of the fact that if you plead guilty, you give up these rights. You have a right to trial by jury. You're presumed to be innocent. You have a right to confront any witnesses the state presents against you. You have a right to subpoena any witnesses you want to appear and testify for you. You have a right to testify and offer other evidence if you want to. You have a right to the assistance of an attorney during the trial. You have a right not to incriminate yourself. You have a right to plead not guilty or remain silent, not in any plea, and in either case automatically obtain a jury trial. You understand these rights, and understand if you plead guilty, you give up these rights. You heard the recommendation the state made. Is that the recommendation you understood the state would make? Did you, in fact, do what District Attorney Mr. Dwight told me you did? How do you plead, guilty or not guilty, as to all the indictments that were cited by the District Attorney?
That right there, because he actually pled guilty. This is for the folks out there that want to keep defending these individuals just because they look like us. These are for the individuals out there on these platforms that keep making videos and claiming that he's innocent. If he was innocent, why would he say that he was guilty? Why didn't he say, I'm not guilty, that I'm innocent, and fight it? No, he said he was guilty, and they clearly told him of his rights. They also were asking him if he understood everything that was being said, and he was there with his counsel, the whole 9 yards. I want y'all to hear this portion again.
And if you plead guilty, you give up these rights. You heard the recommendation the state made. Is that the recommendation you understood the state would make? Did you in fact do what District Attorney Mr. Dwight told me you did?
You can see him sort of shaking his head and speaking very softly, saying yes. So this whole thing, if anybody starts setting up here on social media talking about, oh, he was under duress, oh, they made him. No, he had his counsel right next to him. He was told what the charges are. He was told what his rights were. He, of his own free will, pled guilty. Just so y'all know.
Statement made. Did you in fact do what District Attorney Mr. Dwight told me you did? How do you plead, guilty or not guilty, as to all the indictments that were cited by the District Attorney?
You could see him shaking his head, saying he pleads guilty. If the man was innocent, for all the people that defend this monster, just like there are going to be people that's going to defend Eligio Bishop because he got a pretty tough, he got life. And people that defend the likes of, rats like Polite, this man admitted to the things that he did, which is why eventually when they tallied up all the people he took advantage of, he got the 135-year sentence. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dumb enough not to realize that black people always get a heavier sentence for any crime that we do compared to our white counterpart. But I don't give a damn because this man has done damage to minors. Get that through your thick heads. Anybody out there who's sitting up here trying to make excuses that will leave a goofy comment on this video of that nature.
Statement made. Did you in fact do what District Attorney Mr. Dwight told me you did? How do you plead, guilty or not guilty, as to all the indictments that were cited by the District Attorney? Did anybody force you or threaten you in any way to cause you down to this guilty? Did anyone promise you anything to cause you down to this guilty?
Let me stop that right there. Dr. Nikki, you're right. Young Pharaoh, you saw the trial and tribulation that he was going through, right? You see how he was treating his mother of his kids. Young Pharaoh was another one that comes out of this so-called unconscious community who also comes from the same playbook of a Dr. York, or why am I saying Dr. York? Malachi York, because he's not a doctor. The man has no scholarship whatsoever. Just a dude just a man that probably read a lot of books and had a certain level of intelligence to read books, maintain information, and he could sway you folks. He could sway folks out there. And then he put on his Halloween costume, which was his Egyptian outfit, to mesmerize black folks that were looking for something to believe in. But yes, young Pharaoh, another one. You see how he has fallen from grace. But he, just like Polite, as well as Nature Boy, just like Polite, he's another one that's always trying to sell black people on something, always trying to grift us on something. It's a damn shame in today's time when a black person has to be worried about being grifted by his own people in the name of black consciousness. Ain't that a damn shame?
Tell the truth.
Information Man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Let's get back to this because we're getting close to a conclusion.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorneys, not only Mr. Aurora, but your other attorneys? Were you able to hear and understand my statements and questions to you? He's under oath, let him enter his plea.
Your Honor, we've drawn up this withdrawal of not guilty plea and your guilty plea, and comes down to both the defendant both trial case, withdraws his plea not guilty in this case, equates to constitutional rights, pleads guilty as charged with offenses of. I've already enumerated those on the record. They're the same ones I've enumerated on before, Your Honor. I signed on behalf of the state. Back and signed on behalf of the state.
Clear. Malachi Z. York, I find you plead guilty with freely, voluntarily, and knowing manner. There was a factual basis for your plea. I accept your plea.
You clearly could hear that the judge said that the judge accepts his plea, that he pled guilty. He had his lawyers there. That is York, Malachi, Dwight, Malachi York. He is in my opinion, he's the epicenter of all this bullshit that's been going on in this so-called Black conscious community as it relates to the Polites and now Nature Boy, these individuals, because that is the community on these YouTube streets that introduced these fools to us in the first place. I want to say what's up to brother Naps TV in the house. Peace to you. Appreciate you coming through and blessing us with your presence. Wow. There you go, Doctor. I made you a part of the mod squad because you've come over and you've supported this channel, and you always are very professional and have very pronounced things to say about these sort of issues that I'm going over right now. I wanted to say this to everybody that, like I said earlier in this broadcast, it's going to take the people that were victimized by what Bishop, aka Nature Boy, did. They may never actually heal from this. It's going to take a day by day. It's going to be with them forever. He has scarred them emotionally forever, which is almost more dangerous than being scarred physically in terms of a wound on your body, because the emotional scar sometimes never leaves. It's a day by day fight. And he's inflicted this. And I want to say the people that enable these type of individuals to flourish like they flourished over these years, shame on you. And I want to also say that if there's going to be some other jokers just like these guys that are going, we thought that York should have been the end of it. We should have learned from what he did. That video is from 16 years ago. And it seems that we haven't learned a damn thing from that monster, because here comes another monster like Polite, who's now, he's in prison. And now Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, who comes from that same cloth. Let's try to make sure that we don't allow another one of these kind of characters to rise up on social media. And let's hope that when we recognize what they are and who they are and what they're trying to do, that we don't support them, that we don't allow them to blow up and become a detriment to people's minds and spirits and bodies. I appreciate everybody in the chat room from listening to this. This was not an easy podcast to do today, but it was one that I had to do once the word came out about his sentence. I was on Brother Sanchez's show the other night, and we really got into it over there. And I knew that I had to cover some of the stuff that I talked about on his broadcast the other night and go a little bit deeper in some other areas. I appreciate, once again, everyone in the chat room, all the mods, everybody that makes this channel go, everyone that's supporting, everyone that will share this video on your social media, share it with your family members. Please share it with family members and people who need to see this. Because like I said, I'm going to say it again, there's going to be another few more characters that are going to come along, and they're going to try to see if they can run the same game that these characters have run, or like a Elijah Bishop. There's going to be somebody that's going to try to fill the void where he left off. I guarantee it. Someone's going to try to come aboard. Some slick talking, another slick talking person. Beware of these slick talkers, these fast talkers. I hope everybody is blessed. Tell someone that you love them. I wish this not to happen to anybody's kids or family members. No matter what streets that people come from, whether it be New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, any of these major cities can have a slick talking, coated personality of people who claim that they've got the knowledge of everything, that they got the answers that you don't have in these streets that you're looking at right here. Beware of these kind of folks who try to act like they're locking up something that they've got the lockdown on knowledge. They got the lockdown on what it is to be conscious. Once again, if you're conscious, you don't have to remind people that you're conscious. Your actions and your deeds speaks for itself. With that said, everybody, I thank you for your support again. I thank you for watching a brother, being patient with a brother, and until next time, and we do it again. Thank you, thank you, everybody, brothers and sisters. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Peace. You've been listening to the Information Man Show.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody in the chat room, all your thoughts, all your comments. Thank you.
45, 45, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Traumatized, victimized, seen some of my die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them niggas slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war. Tell that nigga he gon' pick a side. Hood ties from hood lines, now niggas doing dope lines. Don't run into the cops, that's a big exercise. Don't run into the cops, that's the motto. I don't see it coming to an end like legato. Get chipped like staccato, send a wave through the hood, now it sounding like vibrato. Why you eat bread with avocado? We be trying to dodge shells before it landing on tomato. Singing all my sorrows on Apollo, I've been trying to pave the way, but they didn't tell me it was potholes. America ain't dreaming, it been scheming when the birth of a nation came from black. We all know it's black genius. Everybody love the culture, they be black by convenience.
Hold on, my killer. You talking way too much conscience. Speak about some girls or some money or some diamonds or something. I'm not telling you to rap, not to rap how you rap, but make something we can vibe to.
Sounded like a real anthem. Shawty saw my wallet, now she think I answer. Whoa, telling me she wanted me to hammer. Tryna get saved, baby, I am not the answer. No, I can never trick. Unless the bitch is my bitch with a kiss on my lips like, I am not a pimp with a limp, I'm a man with a gift, and I'm doing my shit like, tell them other nips, I'm the nip. I'm the man in the city, and my bank account bigger, and my body count bigger, that's without a doubt. I'm 100 steps ahead, that's a lot of mouth, that's a lot of clout. What you all about? What your dollar amount? You a boy scout, I'm a big dog. Tell the truth, I don't get y'all this shit. Time to corny motherfucker, turn this shit off, bro. I can't rap how everybody else rap, bro. Everybody talking about hoes, cars, clothes, chains, and money. That shit corny as fuck, bro. Oh God, I don't want to rap about that corny ass shit.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today. You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.